Hey folks, this is Gino Niccoli, the marketingblacksheep.com and moleculeminions.com. And I wanted to take a couple of minutes to share with you guys a technique of how you add people into your downlines, no matter what company or product or service you're marketing, but a methodology and a strategy. And then how you can put that system on steroids to really, really blow your business up. Now, of course, some of this is shared out there already. There's a gentleman out there, Vincent St. Louis and Calvin Becerra. I want to give them two hats off, or two thumbs up, because they kind of put this methodology out there. But we're going to talk today more specifically about how you incorporate this into your business, whether you're going to use warm market or the internet, or like moleculeminions.com. We have a completely inbound system that generates almost 10,000 incoming calls a month, where all of our distributors just take incoming calls of people who are already interested. It doesn't matter what you're doing to bring in people that are interested in what you're doing. What is really important is to understand the power of your comp plan, whether you're in a binary or a unilateral or breakaway, step away, whatever, but how you empower people that you're bringing into your business to be able to replicate and duplicate what you're doing. That's really the key to everything. And if you don't know my background and my experience in network marketing, the marketingblacksheep.com is a training company in the industry. I've been training people in network marketing now for over 20 years and have about 25,000 students around the world. And we're still in the field in different network marketing programs. We do very, very well. But we do everything from home. We're a home-based business kind of business, and that's what my wife and I, Brandy, are most interested in. And so that's kind of what we do. And I want to share with you guys something that's really, really powerful. You may have to watch this video multiple times to understand the concept. But let me see if I can work with technology. I'm not real good at that part at all, but I'm going to do my best and see if I can share with you guys exactly how this works, because it's really fun to play with. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw a couple of circles. I'm going to do my best to make some artwork happen. But here's what I want you guys to imagine. So the first thing you're going to do, obviously, in your MLM company is you're going to go get your first one. And you're going to do that either making a list of your friends and family or using an inbound system like we have at moleculeminions.com, or maybe you're going to do it through a radio show or an internet site or some place that you grab this audience of people and you grab that first person, right? So if you're in a unilateral, you have to get anywhere from 3 to 5 people, and then your job is to show them how to do the same thing. If you're in a binary, then you get 2, and then you're trying to help those 2 get their 2. So we're going to kind of do a combo package, and I'm going to address this specifically towards a binary, but you guys should be able to easily see how this is adaptable if you're in a unilateral, because the most important part about network marketing that so many people don't understand is that it doesn't matter how many people you can recruit. I mean, Brandy and I have added and consistently add 37 people a week or more into our businesses. It's not about the volume of business you can do. It's what can you empower people in your team to be able to do. And whether you're going to have a meeting space and meet with everybody once a week to do that, or whether you're going to do it all over the phone and the internet like Brandy and I do, it's irrelevant. It's understanding what the end goal is and how are you going to empower your people to do that. All right, so let's talk about you, all right? So we're going to put a circle right here, and we're going to say this is you. And yeah, my artwork is terrible, but it's as good as I got, all right? So I'm going to label this as me, or I'm going to try. All right, so this is me, or this is you, right? Okay, now in a binary, your job is to get your first 2, one on the right, one on the left. The tough part with understanding a binary and its potential as well as its weaknesses and pluses compared to a unilateral, the big plus with a binary is that you should get spillover. If your upline is doing their job, you should have one of your legs that's growing faster. That's the whole point. If you don't have a binary where you're getting spillover, you're in the wrong binary. You have the wrong upline, and they're not doing their part to help you grow the business. Now, if you're in a unilateral, most of the time you never see spillover because that's not your upline's job in a compensation plan. But if your upline is really good at what they do, it doesn't matter if it's a unilateral or a binary. your upline should always be trying to help you to do the two most important things in this business. So the most important things are to remember that in any network marketing program, you want to build width for your income and you want to build depth from your longevity. Doesn't matter if your comp plan's playing 3% on the front line, 7%, 12.5%, 87%. None of that stuff matters in your company and comp plan. If you don't have the right techniques and the right methodology and the right understanding of how you design and craft an organization in this business, it won't matter. You'll get your couple of people, and some of them may get a couple of people, but you'll die on the vine because you don't have enough growth happening quick enough to compensate for the natural fallout rate in this business. I mean, the retention rate in this industry is always going to be, you know, I think nationwide average, it's like 15%. Brandy and I average like 60% after a year, which is really crazy. But for the most part, it's not going to be that high. So you have to build width and depth at the same time. That's how you get now money is all about width. That's all your income and your current money now. That's your fast start bonuses, your sign up, your mentor bonuses and stuff. That's all going to be based on your width. Your income from the depth is all your overrides. It's all your bonuses. It's all the leadership money. The people at the top of comp plans that make $1 million a year, they're making most of their money now based on their depth because they built width enough that the depth happened naturally. All right, so again, let's take a look at a binary. On a binary, your job is to get one over here. Oh, I'm going to be real terrible at this art stuff, but we're going to do the best we got. So we're going to get one there, and then we're supposed to get one over here on the right. Okay, now most binaries today are hybrid binaries. In other words, they function just like a unilateral. You have a front line, and then you have levels beneath that. So what I'm going to do to make this a common ground for you to understand is we're going to draw a horizontal line in this binary system, and this becomes your front line, okay? That's the best artwork I've got, but we'll do the best we can. So let's call the first people that you put. Let's just give them names. Let's say this one over here is Dave. And I feel like I'm writing like a 5-year-old, but it's the best I can do. All right, so we got Dave over here, and we're going to keep short names so that it's easier for me to draw. Let's say we got Tom over here, okay? So we personally sponsored Dave and Tom. Now, Dave and Tom are what we call our frontline business, okay? So they're also on this same line right here. In other words, when you look at your genealogy in a binary, they're sitting right here, okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to try to get Dave and Tom to provide you their list of 50 people if you're going to work within the warm market. Again, if you're not working in the warm market and you have an inbound system like we have at moleculeminions.com, well, then you're going to do things a little bit differently. But the concept is the same. When somebody comes into our team and Brandy and I are working with them within the business, the concept is to get their inbound phone system ringing so hard that they have no problem talking to enough prospects to go get their first two. If you're working with people in the warm market and you listen to people like Calvin and Vincent and Randy, and I mean, there's tons of people out there that make a ton of money in this business, but what they're thinking about is it's not about using up your list, it's about saving your data and only using enough data to get the business that you need. So a lot of times what happens is we burn through our warm market list, we say too much to too many people, our friends and family don't want to hear anymore, and we burn that list, right? And then you have to go out there and try to figure out other ways to create prospects, and that's the reason that we created moleculeminions.com, because our inbound system lets any distributor come in and they can literally get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of incoming calls. So you've got that list. But either way, we're only looking for just the cream off the top. We're looking for just enough to get the next two, okay? So in our program with Dave and Tom, we have a 10-step training system. Now, when we deliver that 10-step training system to both Dave and Tom, both of those guys mathematically, percentage-wise, they're not both going to be active at the exact same time. I mean, we'd love that to happen. but statistically, that's not what happens. One of the two of these people, Dave or Tom, they're probably gonna stall out somewhere, okay? And you're only gonna work with the people who are working the business. The people who aren't working the business, we hope they love their product, we hope they stay on auto ship, and maybe they'll wake up and take advantage of the opportunity of network marketing, maybe they won't. But either way, you only have so much time in a day, so much time in a week, and you can only spend that time with people who deserve that time, not people who need the time. And somebody who deserves the time is somebody who's actually applying that 10-step training process to either make their list of 50 people in their warm market, or they're going to use an inbound system or internet or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or something to get those prospects, okay? So I go to Dave and I say, Dave, I need you to make your list, or I need you to get into our training systems and get your incoming calls coming in. Then I go over to Tom and I say the same thing. Tom, you got to do this 10-step system. You got to make your list of 50 people, or you got to get your phone ringing, but you got to do something so that we've got prospects to talk to, right? Okay, now let's assume, for example, that one of these two does not. Let's say Tom isn't ready yet, okay? So Tom has decided that for right now, he's got a vacation he's got to go do with the family. He's going to go have some fun, and when he gets back from vacation, he promises he'll get to work, right? Okay, so we're not going to worry about that. So we're going to work with Dave. Now, if you're working with Dave in the warm market and he makes his list of 50 people, you don't want Dave to do a couple of things that are really, really detrimental to this business. Number one, you never want Dave to say too much. Dave's job is only to introduce you and for you to be on the phone with his prospects to then introduce the business, product, service, and company. That means Dave should not be introducing the company. Dave shouldn't talk about the product. Dave shouldn't talk about what it is. Dave should do a really simple intro. Hey, Bob, I just wanted to get you on the phone. A friend of mine and I started a business, and it's actually pretty cool, and we actually just get paid in our spare time to market products and services, and I thought of you. I didn't know if you were already making enough money right now, or if you could use a little extra money if you had some spare time, 4 or 5 hours a week. You have any spare time? Bob says, well, yeah, I've got a little bit of spare time. So then Dave says, great, let me get my partner Joey on the phone and let you meet him. Then he three-ways you directly to that prospect, okay? If you're Joey, your job then is to take care of Bob for Dave, okay? Now, if that were the warm market, we only want Dave to call those names of 50 people until you help him get his first 2. So if the first 5 people he talks to, he gets his first 2 signups, you don't want him to call his other 45 people. That's the big secret in this business that doesn't seem to trickle down to the bottom of the barrel. It's the same thing at Molecule Minions with our inbound systems. We're not talking about trying to teach you how to get 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 reps a week yourself. We're talking about developing a system that empowers everybody in your team using the exact same gifts, talents, and systems you have to grow that downline, okay? So let's go back to Joey and Bob and Dave. So Joey, that's you, contacts Dave and Tom, gets them signed up. Dave makes a list. Tom is going on vacation. Dave makes a list. He contacts 4 or 5 people, or Dave starts taking inbound calls, and he gets a couple of qualified prospects, and we get him that next one, which first one we talked to was Bob. So Bob decides he's going to move forward. So we're going to put Bob right here. All right, now we got Bob in there. Now let's say that if Dave used his warm market list, he took 5 contacts out of his 50 to find Bob and get Bob plugged in. Let's say it takes him another 10 calls or contacts in his warm market list, or another 100 incoming calls, or another 400 incoming calls to get his next one, right? Let's say his next one is John, and I'm going to spell it real simple to make my job easy because I'm not real good with this artwork. But now we got John over here, right? Okay, so now Dave is all set. In a binary system, Dave has his first 2. He's qualified. He's ready to rock and roll. Now, Tom over here, kind of sleepy, right? So at the same time that we're working with Dave to get, if I'm Joey, I'm working with Dave to get Bob and to get John plugged in. Let's remember that I did most of the work to get Bob and John. But because Bob and John came from Dave's list or Dave's inbound calls or whatever, those sales, those signups go directly through Dave, okay? Joey up here, me, we don't make any sign-up commission, but we don't care because we've got Dave's hair on fire. He's excited. He's got his first two. He's qualified. He's ready to go. But if I'm Joey, I still have a problem on this leg over here I got to fix. So now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to, when I X Tom out, this doesn't mean he's out of the business. This just means as far as business partners and building my business, I'm not worried about Tom right now because Tom has decided he's going to go on vacation. If he comes back and he's ready to rock and roll, his business will be waiting for him. But one of the most powerful things about what we're going to try to teach you that the big boys and girls in this business do is that we're actually going to build below Tom while he's on vacation, hoping that when he comes back, maybe this will get his attention. And if not, we all make money with or without Tom. He's either part of the team or he's not part of the team. Either way, he's still on the product. He still loves the product and everybody's happy. So what I'm going to do, if I'm Joey, if I'm me up here, I'm going to go find two more. And those next two that I find, instead of putting them over here, right now, I'm going to focus on putting at least one of them right here below Tom. Now, we're only going to talk about one for a second, and I'll tell you why. Okay? Now, let's call this one Jane, since I think I did a lot of men here. So let's add a Jane to our group here. All right? So now we got Jane started. And again, it doesn't matter where we found Jane. I don't care if we found it through moleculeminions.com inbound system or through the Marketing Black Sheep's training classes and the techniques over there or our own audio commercial campaign or War Market. It doesn't make any difference, okay? But now, Joey up here, me, I've got a growing business, okay? And what you really want to do is you want to help this Dave get his first two within about 14 days. Most comp plans are going to reward you for doing that. Now, remember I talked about this front line up here, right? Right now, I now have 3 people in my front line. Here's where everybody gets confused. You see, I sponsored Dave. He's in my front line. I sponsored Tom. He's in my front line. And because Tom wasn't ready to go to work right away, I used my inbound systems or my list of 50 people in my upline to get me Jane. Jane is also my personal because Tom didn't do anything to get it, so Jane is on my front line too. That's called building width and building depth at the same time. Now, Dave, if I'm Joey up here, Dave and I are going to work to help Bob and John. The problem is most of the time, Dave still doesn't know what's going on. Dave's still not fully trained. His eyes aren't fully open in the business yet, and he's not ready to do all the presentations and explain the company and the product and service. So I'm going to work down below Dave with Bob and John. And I'm going to do the same thing with Bob and John that I've done with Dave and Tom. They're going to get our 10-step training system, whatever your company, whatever your leaders are telling you to do. Each of them, I'm going to work with them to understand. You either got to make a list of 50 people, or you got to get an inbound system, or you got to get on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. But you got to go find some prospects. And when you find these prospects, Bob and John, you're not supposed to talk to them and give them a bunch of information. You're supposed to either read the script that's provided for you. If you're a part of the Molecule Minions team, you have an inbound script, so the minute the call comes in, you just do the script and then you three-way it directly to a leader that can help you. In this case, if I was doing it in War Market, he would have a script of things to basically mention to break that conversation with his list of 50 and for John to do the same thing. Now let's remember, Dave still has a list of about 35 people because remember, he only had to contact 15 to get these first two, right? So we had him put his list away, okay? If he's using the inbound system, he's going to use the inbound system, but he's going to use it for Bob and John first, not for Dave now, because his job is to try to help them. So he's going to try to advertise and get these guys calls and inquiries, and then they're going to three-way that stuff up to Joey, not to Dave, okay? So now I'm working with Bob and I'm working with John, and I'm trying to get them to advertise and do their thing, or I'm trying to get them to make their list of 50 people. Now, again, remember I told you the math of this business, one of these two is not going to go to work. So this time we're going to say Bob decides, oh, you know what? He's got family issues going on, some drama in his life, and he's just not ready to go to work yet. I've called him a couple of times. He hasn't responded. So in my heart, I tell Bob, you know, I wish you the best and everything, but I got to go. John over here decides that he's going to actually follow the systems and start bringing prospects to the table for Joey, for me to work, not for Dave. Dave is still watching and learning, okay? All right, Dave is watching and learning, and Dave should either be, if John's making his list, Dave can't help there, but Dave can be doing some advertising at the same time John is doing some advertising to create prospects for Joey, okay? All right, so now John gets his first, let's say he gets his first 2. All right, so now we got these 2 going on over here. Got these 2 going on over here. We're going to call this one, let's see, we'll call this one Lucy. I like Lucy. All right, so we're going to say this is Lucy. And we're going to say this one is Brenda. All right. Oh, almost ran out. Got it. Okay, so now we got Lucy and Brenda. Okay, now by this time, Dave should be starting to kind of pick up on how everything works. So now Dave and Joey, me, we should be coming down here. We don't have to worry about John. John just gets to watch and learn, and he gets to put his list away. Maybe when John made his list of 50 people, it took him all 50 to get Lucy and Brenda going. That's fine. Maybe he only had to go through 20 of them, and then maybe he had an inbound system like moleculeminions.com or something, and so he used that, and we helped him find Lucy and Brenda. It doesn't matter, but all we want to remember is that every time we get our first 2, we can back off the advertising. We can back off the calling and stuff because now you're trying to work with these 2 if they'll stay awake, okay? All right, but let's go back over to the other side. Now, here's what happens in a binary. As you can see, this side is already starting to grow bigger than this side, okay? And we're going to come over here and do some work. But what the biggest mistake Joey makes when he's building his business is if his binary works like this, where his power leg is already growing. Maybe Dave came from his upline instead of his personal or something. And so this is already starting to happen. And so he focuses all his time over here on his inside leg. That's a huge, huge mistake in a binary and even in a unilateral, because you need front line on both sides of your business. You got to build width both directions, and then you get depth both sides. And when you get depth and width on both sides, that's when you make the really big money, because all your residuals and all your bonuses and all your your profit sharing pools and all that kind of stuff at the top comp plans are based on sponsor legs, meaning people that use personally sponsored like Dave and Tom that then had growth underneath them. And if you don't have that happening in both sides of your tree, or in a unilateral, if you don't have that happening throughout your entire organization of these frontline people you're placing, then you make a little bit of money on fast starts and signups, but you will never, ever see the big residual money, okay? All right, so we helped John get Lucy and Brenda, but at the same time, whatever we were doing to generate prospects and find prospects, we're doing it at the same time to get Jane. Now we're going to try to get Jane to do something. Jane starts to make her list, or Jane starts to get inbound calls coming in. And so Jane, we help her find her 2 people. Okay? Now when she finds her 2 people, we're going to call these, let's see, I haven't used Joey yet, so let's do a Joey. I used him for the top, but we'll say this one's another Joey. So we got another Joey. Oops, that was terrible. And then we got, let's see, how about a Bob? We'll do a Bob. I'm trying to keep the name short for the space and for my artistic inability. All right, so now we got a Bob, okay? Now we've got a fully growing group. Now this person, Joey up here at the top, Joey's starting to make some money, okay? And Joey, front line, let's not forget, Joey has Jane, Tom, and Dave, okay? All of these people we helped Jane get. All of these people we helped John get. These 2 people we gave to Dave. Okay, you're giving away sales. If you're taking inbound calls, if you're getting prospects off LinkedIn or whatever, whenever you have these new partners, you're sharing your prospects and they're sharing their prospects, and your job is to give them the business to get them motivated and started. Now, let's say for some reason, Brenda, she went on vacation. She doesn't have time to advertise or make a list. Ooh, and Lucy's kids went back to school, and she's got tons of stuff to do with the kids, and she doesn't really have time either. You know, normally what happens right here, Joey and Dave and John, everybody sits around and waits for Bob and Lucy and Brenda, and since they're not really doing anything, they just start working over here. And they're not paying attention that this leg has to keep growing, okay? We have to keep it moving. So if I'm Joey up here at the top and I notice that there's not a lot of growth going on, I'm going to start advertising again, or I'm going to get back into my list again, or I'm going to get back onto Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, and I'm going to replace somebody over here. So let's say this time I decide I'm going to put them over here. I get me a new sign up, and this one right here, let's say this one's name is Dana, all right? So Dana goes right in here, okay? All right, so now we've got Dana, but don't forget, I kept Joey up here at the top. I kept Dana as my personal because it didn't come from Bob because he took a nap for a second. And I didn't give it to John because John's already got his too, and he should be trying to advertise down here to replace these two, okay? So if I'm up here at the top, I'm actually working into the depth of my organization. I'm not necessarily working with these people up here because Dave by now should be helping out and catching on, okay? And he's welcome to come on Three Ways and listen to what we're doing and all that kind of good stuff, but I'm focused down here. I'm not focused up here, all right? And this is the biggest problem. If you're in an MLM network marketing program and your upline is not helping you to build your downline like this, you're not noticing that they're doing the Three Ways and actually bringing you prospects while you're bringing them prospects and helping to build the business together. You have a terrible business partner. You should honestly get out of the business. I don't care how great a company you think it is. I don't care how great the product or the service is. It doesn't matter. If the team isn't working as a team, you're not going to succeed as a team. And if it's just going to be you, if you're Joey up here at the top and you're all by yourself, if you're doing 100% of the work, then you should get 100% of the money. And you can do that in a retail business where you buy a product cheap and you sell a product high and you make your retail money. If you're going to make money in network marketing, you have to play with a team. And that team above you better be playing with you, okay? So we're constantly working at the bottom. So now I've got Dana on my front line and Dave. So up here, they would be going across. Okay, and over here on my front line, I have Tom and I have Jane. They're across my front line. While I'm working with these guys down here and doing all the advertising I can, grabbing people, friends, family, trying to put them up underneath these people, even if they're not doing something. So why would I put people underneath Tom like this? Why would we sprout an organization over here? I'll tell you why. Because now suddenly Tom comes back to his vacation and we text him or call him and say, hey, Tom, how are you? Great. Hey, have you been liking the products or the service? I do. Great. Hey, by the way, have you noticed that your downline is growing? Tom's going to go, what are you talking about? I'm going to say, well, geez, Tom, you should get into your back office and check it out because you've got volume down there. You're actually earning commissions. Tom's going to say, I'm earning commissions? I haven't done anything. And I'm going to say, well, I know you haven't done anything, but if you would look in your back office, you're going to see that you've already got a downline growing. You ought to hop on the stick. And then Tom's going to say, well, how do I get these commissions that I'm earning? I see I've got 3 people under there. How much money have I made? And I'm going to say, well, Tom, that's a great question. Of course, in our business, you only get rewarded based on the work you're doing and within your team. So the commissions for Jane, Joey, and Bob are waiting for you, but you have to do something and start springing off this leg over here and get your 3 over here. When you've got 3 over here, then you get commissions that compensate you for everybody on all sides of the team. You see, Tom? So you should get to work, man, because this thing's growing. Now, Tom might get a little grumpy and say, well, you know, if I'm not getting commissions off Jane, Joey, and Bob right now, well, I don't know if I want to work the business right now. I'll just keep eating the product. And you go, well, that's okay, Tom, because you're down here working with Joey and Bob. So this leg is going to continue to grow and build. About a month from now, you're going to be able to reach out to Tom and say, Tom, I know you've been busy. I know you were kind of grumpy that you didn't get any free commissions for not doing anything, but have you seen your downline? Tom's going to go, well, no, I haven't logged into my back office. You're going to say, well, geez, Tom, you got to go into your back office because down here, man, the spillover has been crazy. Now, again, what oftentimes happens in a binary in particular is that people don't understand how to watch their width and their depth at the same time. And so because of that, when you get a team that gets some spillover or something and you get a worker, let's say Bob takes off and he just grows this great gigantic downline down here. A lot of times what you'll do is you'll turn to the inside, they call it. So you'll start working this leg over here because you're already getting volume over there. So why do you need to worry about it? Well, you need to worry about it because the system of building is based on width and depth. So you're always wanting to sponsor new people on this side and you're always wanting to sponsor people personally on this side too. So you're going to work with Dana. And as long as Dana goes to work, you'll help her get her first 2. If she doesn't go to work, you'll cross her off your list and you'll put the next person that you personally sign up right underneath her. If Bob goes to work, great. If Bob doesn't go to work, you'll cross him off your list. You'll keep working with Joey. If Joey goes to work, great. If Joey doesn't go to work, you'll put the next one right here or the next one right here, and you'll start working from there. Again, the key in network marketing is you're always working into the depth of your organization and partnering with all the new people to show them and help them how to grow their business. It's not about you. It's not about how many of these people can you personally recruit, because then if you do that, the only thing you end up with is an organization that just runs down the outside right here and runs down the outside right here. You don't get any of this wonderful growth on the inside where all the big money is really at. The big money is showing Dave and showing John and showing Bob how you're doing what you're doing. And then Bob should take the mantle and start working below you down here, and he should start working below you down here. Tom and Jane and Bob and Joey, when you teach them and they're learning, they'll do the same thing. They should be working down here, and they should be working down here to grow their respective inside trees at the same time that they're still continuing to sponsor on the outside. All right, again, I know there's a lot of squigglies and it's really confusing, and I know you guys will have to come and watch this video over and over and over again. But if you want to create a 7-figure business, you can. Yes, it's going to take you, I don't know, up to 5 years. But let me show you the most magical, most incredible math in the whole world and why Brandy and I are still in this industry and will be for forever, okay? Let me try to erase all this stuff. Oh, this technology is just the coolest, funnest thing. Let me see if I got this. All right, let's talk about the big money earners. When in the past, when I've built teams as big as 30,000 people, okay? When I've done some other big things in the industry, adding 200-300 reps a week, that kind of stuff, it happens because of the growth of being able to empower people on your team to build. But here's what's really fascinating. Again, it's not about what you do. If you want to look at Randy Gage, or you want to look at Eric Warre, or you want to look at Calvin Becerra, or you want to, you want to talk to any of these guys about how they've built such a big business. Oh, so I want to draw. Okay, so if you want to talk about how they've been able to build what they've been able to do, there's a really simple mathematical equation that you have to understand. And when you understand this equation, it will give you the patience in this business to understand what you're doing it for. You're not doing it for today's money. If you're in this business to see how much money you can make this week, you're wasting your time. Go get a job. If you're in this business to replace your primary income, or to make sure that when you're ready to retire, you literally have $1 million income, you're in the right place at the right time. Let me show you what that looks like. If I can, well, I don't want it to draw. Let's see if it'll let me. Okay, so now it'll let me do that. All right, so we're not going to worry about that line over there. I'll erase it. Okay, we'll go back to drawing squigglies. Okay, so here's the cool thing. All of the biggest money earners in this business, do you know how many people they've personally recruited? Most people, it takes an average of 5 years to get to a multiple 6-figure or 7-figure income. Most of them will all tell you that they personally recruited no more than about 300 people personally. Remember when I was showing you the width and the depth? So they're building down their leg and down their legs and down their team and down everybody. They're putting people underneath them. This is why the unilateral business should see spillover just as much as a binary. If your upline's doing it right and you're in a unilateral, you should be getting spillover all over the place, because they should be working down and around you and below you all the time. In Phoenix, it's 110 degrees today, even in the kitchen. All right, so you don't need to sponsor more than about 300 people personally total. Okay, that's it. That's such a small number. It sounds like a big number, right? 300 people, right? I'm not very good at this drawing thing. All right. But if you average 300 personal recruits, you're going to find out that that mathematically equates to 1.25 people per week. That's it. All you have to do is 1.25 people a week. That's it. Okay? Because when you look at the math that I was drawing, that big, scale and everything, you're going to have a ton of people that don't do anything. You're going to have some people that do some things. And at the end of the day, every single multi-million-dollar marketer, every millionaire in this business will tell you that over the course of their lifetime in network marketing, I guarantee you they probably have less than 6 people that make them the big money. 6 people. 6 people out of this 300 people equals 1 million a year. Now, the real question is, will you have the patience? Will you have the tenacity to stick with it, to get your skill set up, to make sure you're paying the bills with a JOB or whatever the heck you have to do, so you've got the extra money to build your business, whether you're paying for space at a Howard Johnson's for meetings or doing advertising in papers or whatever the heck you do? Will you have the patience and tenacity to make sure that you have the time to survive the business? Because you don't have to hit a home run. And because here's the weird thing, even if you could do 5, 6, 10, 15 people a week yourself every single week personally, it still won't accelerate the math. It still isn't going to help you find those 6 people any quicker. Because even if you did find those 6 people that are going to make you that $1 million over the next 5 years, it will take those 6 people the next 5 years to develop the skill set. It's not like you're going to grab these people and just suddenly they're going to wake up and be able to build their systems out and get their prospects and teach everybody else. They're going to have to learn with you. They're going to take time just like you. Do you have the patience? Do you have the tenacity? Do you understand the methodology and the systems necessary to get you where you want to go? You have to have massive prospects. Whether you make your list of 50 people and then start using inbound systems, whether you can do it just with your list of 50 people, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to create an audience of people, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people over time, to pick the cherries off the tree, to get your 1 or 2 people a week here and there that you can place in your team wherever you need to be, so that you're building width and depth at the same time. That's where the money's at. Can you do it? Well, if you need some help, even if you're not in moleculeminions.com and you're not part of our teams in the field, go to themarketingblacksheep.com. We'll help you every step of the way. We do a live class every Wednesday night. It's 100% free, doesn't cost you a nickel. And if you're looking for a team and your upline isn't helping you to build like we just showed you, I challenge you to check out moleculeminions.com and let us show you how it's really done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Thanks for being here. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.